The Hessian Haunting, 1777. Egremont, Massachusetts. You would be forgiven if you believed the following story to have derived from the writings of Washington Irving. It does not, however, belong to his story Sleepy Hollow, or even an origin behind it, but it is deeply embedded into the folklore of the Berkshire Mountains, as west as you can go in Massachusetts before ending up in New York, a region long known for the dark shadows of mountains and claustrophobic forests. In 1777, the War for Independence of the 13 colonies from British rule had moved west, away from its early battles in Boston and New York City. On September the 19th to October the 17th, the Battle of Saratoga had seen the Continental Army face the British Army and her Hessian allies. After the battle, the folklore in the area tells of a wounded Hessian soldier by the name of Franz Wagner making his way west from New York to Massachusetts. On the way, his injuries worsened and he died in the woods alone near the town of Egremont, 70 miles from the battle, the hollows of the trees and the encroaching cold the only testament to his passing. At some point his body was found in the woods and it was brought to the riverside cemetery in Egremont. Somewhere here in these grounds his body was buried by the residents. This, however, is only the beginning of the story. Days later, reports started to fill the residents with dread. The Hessian had been seen wandering the cemetery at night, restless with full military uniform passing up and down amongst his place of burial. Wanting to investigate, resident Joe Tanner, accompanied by another man, made their way in the dead of night to the grave of the Hessian, and were driven away with screams as, true to the rumour, the full-bodied apparition of Franz Wagner rose with violent exclamation from the grave soil and began to speak. All the men could hear, however, was silence, as the dead mouth of the Hessian mouthed in silence to them as they ran. Fearing the spectre, the whole town succumbed to fear, and its residents closed their doors at night and refused to leave until the sun reappeared. Something, it was decided, would need to be done. Despite the reservations of moving a body, both legally and spiritually, it was decided to act. Meeting here at the site of what is now the general store, a group of men, including Joe Turner, decided to do just that. Making their way a short distance to Wagner's grave, they began digging until his coffin and body were exhumed and placed on a cart where it was dragged to somewhere here on Tomball Mountain. As the mountain rose, the cart could go no further, and Tanner and two men went into the woods to locate a suitable site for Wagner's corpse. They were not gone long before screams of the men left behind brought them rushing back to the cart, where the Hessian was seen sitting above the coffin, again mouthing words that none of them could hear. Running into the trees, they eventually regained their courage and returned to the cart, finding that the ghost had disappeared. Not wanting to face it again, they quickly buried Franz Wagner somewhere on this mountainside, not a large distance away from where he died alone. Perhaps this return to a site of natural peace was what he was trying to say all along, as his ghost was never seen again in Egremont. However, the ghost of a Hessian soldier in full uniform is still seen on this mountain and in the nearby town of West Stockbridge. Although the ghost of Franz Wagner, it seems, has truly departed, for want of a better term, Riverside Cemetery, something still lurks here. Upon entering the small cemetery, I was struck with a shift in atmosphere, an almost static charge to the air that left me dizzy, especially at a small rise at this point, which gives way to the oldest graves in this corner. It is when this area was being filmed, with this footage, the sensation was at its strongest. And with that, I shall wish you a very happy Halloween. If you liked what you saw and heard, please follow at ofgrave.concern. The art shown, inspired by the legend of Sleepy Hollow, can be found on the website www.ofgraveconcern.com. Thank you for watching.